in the battle here. There are no less than 4 of them in the top dozen, but it is Zavialova and Burkina who lead the way. Have they gone out too fast? Peruzzi just behind. She's traveling at about the same speed as the 2 Russians. And then, as you can see, these racers already losing a little bit too much time for me. Just a reminder of our email address, ski@infovoice.de. If you'd like to get in touch with Magna and myself, David Goldstrom, thanks for your emails. A little rush this morning. We'll try to involve some of those in a moment. And so the early starters still getting through the first quarter of the race. The fastest at the moment is Svetlana Malahova of Kazakhstan. That's not a bad run from her. 11 seconds quicker than Natalia Zatikova or indeed Oksana Yatskaya of Kazakhstan. Good start by Malahova.
Yes, and the Kazakhstan team are quite strong in skating.
So I think it's very interesting looking at the progress that they're making. They may be a season or maybe 2 seasons away from really making their presence felt, because they're all in their early 20s or late teens.
Yes, so for the next World Championships in Oberstdorf and for the Olympics in Turin, I think we will have a really strong team from Kazakhstan by the girls.
In picture, this is Malahova.
She has a very good technique. You can see she's closing the legs quite good and have a very good rhythm. Strong girl. Through
the stadium. Interestingly, Oberstdorf unveiled their plans for the next World Championships in 2005. They're going to invest no less than 35 million euros into the project. They're going to build a brand new cross-country stadium. And incidentally, those of you fans out there who want to get involved in the 2005 championships, I can tell you that it's worth getting the tickets early, because it will be a sellout. Unlike here, where basically the Norwegians have provided the backbone of most of the support, the tickets at Oberstdorf will be highly prized, and they go on sale in July, August and September of this year. And there's a website, www.oberstdorf.com, and if you go into that, there are details about how you can book up for the 2005 World Championships. So still the in fact, through, we think it's going to be Peruzzi who's going to lead the red group through the early stage of this first 7,500 meters. That's Stephanie Böhler, who started 16 and has been caught by Kaiser Varis. So Kaiser Varis, the first of the red group, but we've still got Peruzzi well ahead of her.
Yes, Varis coming in after the first lap, and she's looking very good. I think she has a good pace there. And now Gabriela is coming.
Well, this is really interesting, because we've got Gabriela at something like 22 seconds ahead of Kaiser Varis. Now, it was only 4 to 5 seconds at the 2.2 kilometer mark. So Gabriela Peruzzi has either made a lot of time or Kaiser Varis has lost a lot of time.
Yes, and it shows that Gabriela must have had very fast skis from the top of the track and down to the lapping. 24 seconds, that's a lot of time.
That is a lot of time, and it does suggest that Peruzzi is going very well. Just looking at Valbuza, she's 30 seconds behind her teammate and has been surpassed. She's been overtaken, and Nagakina has been surpassed by Smeagan. No, she hasn't quite. Smeagan still to catch Nagakina, but she's cut that 30-second starting differential by 50%. And Smeagan is now the second fastest, well, she was until a moment ago. But we've got Zavialova and Peruzzi still travelling at the same speed, and Smeagan about 10 to 15 seconds behind.
Yes, but I think that's good for Christina. She is going faster now, and all the racers will have a lot of information from the coaches around the track, how it's going with the people in back of them.
Now, here we go. There is Svetlana Nagakina. And somewhere in the picture should be Christina Smeegen. Nagakina, formerly a racer for the Soviet Union and then the Russians, but with the breakup of the Soviet Union into the different republics, Nagakina opting to represent Belarus. And through 7,500 meters at the moment, it is Peruzzi from Smeegen. Smeegen and Varis in third place, Sabina Valbuza fourth, and in fact Smeegen ahead now, physically on the snow, ahead of Nagakina.
There we have Savialova. She's 0.2 before Peruzzi at that time. They are going very, very close.
Here's Christina Smeegen. And it would be a bit better, Magna, if we could stick with someone rather than chopping and changing around. The shot's changing a little bit, more difficult for us as well as it probably is for you to keep focus on what on earth is happening here.
That's Savialova in the lead, and the Russians are opening strong, and that's a little bit typical for the Russian racers, that they are going very fast in the beginning, and then they have are losing a little bit at the last lap. Bente Martinsen many times make that with the Russian girls. He took them at the last 5 kilometers.
Savialova it is. We ought to also remember that her teammate Burkina was going quickly. Hilda Pedersen seems to be about 30 seconds off the pace for Norway. That's fairly stable. As you see further up the course, wearing to Zatikova, who went early. She's being pursued there by her sister Vera Zatikova, who of course is on an earlier stage of the race. So we've got the two sisters racing at the same time, but at different stages of the race.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's might be quite confusing for Natalia, with Vera just going into the lead there.
You should also look up for Shevchenko, one of the favorites from Bente Martinsen. She's going strong now.
Yes, within 10 seconds, it's Savialova, Peruzzi, and then Shevchenko with Christina Smeegen. Very similar race pace at the moment. So here is the Ukrainian, Valentina Shevchenko. Really has taken over the mantle from Irina Terelia as she reaches the twilight of her career. So it's good that the Ukraine have got a lead skier. Jenny Olsen, I'm afraid, losing more time. Magna, she's down to more than a minute behind.
Yes. We have some fast racers after her too, so she will be something between 15 and 20 than everybody else past the first lap. But Jenny is very strong at the last part of the race, so let's hope she can improve her speed a little bit.
Just going back to 2,200 meters just to see one or two others who started a little later.
Sachenbacher coming in at the 5th place, 27 seconds behind. It's a good opening for Ebbe.
And at the moment, none of the starters after the red group making an impression on the leading racers. So we'll just have to see how that works out. Burkina is the fastest racer, and she has speeded up even more, Elena Burkina. And this is an impressive start by the 26-year-old. Represented Russia in the Olympics in Salt Lake City when she was 16th in the sprint and 14th in the 15-kilometer freestyle. That was a decent debut for her. And so far in the World Championships, 4th in the relay, 7th in the pursuit for Burkina. So she's got good credentials and is obviously improving fast.
Yes, Burkina is going very good, and both the Russian girls, Savialova, Burkina, have a great opening of this 30K for skating for the girls.
Interesting, you looked at today's course in comparison to the 50-kilometer freestyle course for the men, which is a 12.5 kilometer loop, and you surprised me earlier when you said, I think this is more difficult.
Yes, because they are going 4 times 7.5, and it's going up and down all the time. At the men's race at 4 times 12.5, you have some quite easy parts of the track that you can rest and a little bit.
So Yatskaya up at 12,300 meters. Going well, Oksana Yatskaya. And this was one of the 2 Kazakh racers who we identified as really being improving athletes. In the World Cup, she hasn't been better than 30th this year. That was in a 15-kilometer classic race, but she's really performed beyond our expectations at these championships. And she's already got 2 top 15 finishes. I wonder whether she could possibly get another one in this last race.
I think that's quite possible for Oksana. And also in the Olympics last year in Salt Lake, the Kazakhstan women team was making good results, better than in the World Cup.
And there you can see her taking it. That was a pity we couldn't have stayed with that shot, Magno, because that really gave you an indication of the climb there.
Yes.
Now here's another of the Russians. Now they did have 4 in the top dozen early on. That was at 2.2 kilometers up the first climb. At the moment, at 7,500 meters, Burakina leads Saviolova by 4, Harutsi by 5, Shevchenko by 13. Smigan is 21 seconds down, as you can see, and then Sackenbacher for Germany 30 seconds off the pace. Other important names, Pedersen 35 and losing touch, Nagakina going south, and then Becky Scott 48 seconds off the pace, and Medvedeva, she's just about in the top 15. We'll take another little break. We'll be back well in time for the 12,000.